I love sampling different watches, don't you? In this video, I'll take a look at the Nezumi Baleine, a micro-brand vintage-inspired dive watch. Join me on this episode of Adventures with Time and see what you think about the Nezumi Baleine. Here we have the Baleine dive watch from Nezumi Studios, a Stockholm-based company founded in 2011 by designer David Campo Cardenas. Nezumi not only creates watches, they apparently also produce apparel, all with a vintage aesthetic. The name Nezumi comes from a children's book about a Japanese Robin Hood called Nezumi Kozo. And the name of this watch is Baleine, coming from the French word for whale. Not to be confused by baleen, which is that comb structure in a whale used to screen out microorganisms on which the whale feeds. 3 models are available, one with a combination of brushed and polishing on the case, and one with an all-brush finish, both priced at $349 US. There's a brushed DLC gold-coated model which uses the Seiko VK63 Mega Quartz movement at $367 US. All appear in stock at the time of this recording, and $17 for worldwide shipping. The watch I have on loan is the one with the all-brush case. Let's take a closer look at this watch. The Baleine certainly has a vintage look about it, not unlike my Tudor Black Bay 58. And perhaps more so with its faux patina printed hour indices and hands. It has nice specs for a diver, 40mm wide and not too thick at 13mm, including that double dome sapphire crystal. The base 2 models use the Seiko NH35 movement but without a date wheel, so the crown has that phantom quickset date position. The dive bezel is a printed aluminum insert, so one can expect some scratches to appear. Viewing the case from the side, you can see that it has a bevel at the top, and the bezel has a matching bevel at the bottom. Bezel, bottom. Did I get that right? This provides for a more secure grasp of the bezel while rotating it, which, by the way, seems quite purposeful to me, with virtually no wiggle once it's set in place. The Baleine dial is quite basic with a matte black base and printed brand and depth information. Indices and the minute track are also printed. I'll show you a Lume shot later. At the outside of the minute track and at the hour indices are numbers to indicate the 24-hour scale for the PM hours. That's a nice little touch. They use syringe, hour, and minute hands and a plain, thin second hand. Both the minute and second hand are extended all the way to the outer edge of the minute track, which I appreciate. Flipping the watch over, you see, in addition to some specs around the edge of the screw-down case back, a deep relief of the Nezumi branding, indicating they were established in 2011 and are based in Stockholm, Sweden. That stylized Nezumi end is repeated on the screw-down crown. Now, one thing I learned researching this watch, never stop learning, is that the style of the lugs on the Baleine is called lyre. We can see why, I think, as we look at the top arm of a traditional lyre. But beyond that curve down, the lugs also have a slanted top as well as a beveled inner edge, giving some interesting design elements to this watch. For you Lume junkies, here's what this watch will look like in the dark. Bright bezel pip and hour and minute hands. But the lume on the second hand and dial seem to be less potent. I'm sure that will disappoint some folks. Let's see how this watch looks on my 7 7/8 inch wrist with the included leather strap, your choice of black or brown. A very appropriate size for a diver and my wrist, but better yet, let's take it outside for a look. What are my overall thoughts for this watch? I think it's a nicely executed dive watch. It has a nice vintage look, especially with that double dome sapphire crystal, and sometimes you can catch the blue tinge of the AR coating. It is well proportioned and feels comfortable on my wrist. It has some nice design elements to make it an interesting watch. Having said that, I would have preferred to have the date included since the movement supports one. Also, the lume on the dial could be better. I know these would add to the cost, but other micro brands have done it. Now, some might not like the plain vintage look of this dial, But I say that if you like this vintage styling, there's no reason you shouldn't consider the Nezumi Baleine. I'll leave you with some wrist shots of this watch both on the included leather strap and on one of my NATO straps, which I think I prefer for this watch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.